Hi, my name is Brooke Lipman.
And I'm Dr. Deb Lipman.
And this is Wine Together,
a podcast where we drink some wine and have a chat.
So sit back, relax, and get that corkscrew ready.
And I looked away. I'm so sorry. So sorry about that, people. I was trying to see. I think this is a Swiss Pinot Noir.
Mm-hmm.
So we say Prost.
Prost.
Prost, yeah. So cheers to you out there. We hope you're enjoying it if that's what you like to do. But it's so funny because October is here. Probably one of my least favorite months as far as all the tradition around it. Now, I love the month because of the cool weather, and I get to wear my favorite color, orange, and I love the colors of the leaves and walking in nature this time of year. So absolutely my favorite time as far as October kind of things. I love the festivals, but I absolutely do not like Halloween.
Why?
I don't know. It deals with stuff that it's probably because of I blame everything on my upbringing. I shouldn't. But it's really all I know. And so I had a lot of fun when I was a teenager. But I had a child early, so I wasn't even in my 20s when Justin was born. So I didn't have I didn't have the party kind of stuff associated with Halloween.
I have not been to a Halloween party ever.
And so I didn't have that. Mm-hmm. But, like when I was in high school and as a teenager, yeah, we had, what we called parties. Mm-hmm. But, that wasn't a party. It's nothing like what, I know now. And so, I don't know. But anyway, and one reason I don't, I think that maybe I can learn to embrace it now that I'm kind of a little, less indoctrinated, I guess I'd call myself. Because I don't like the supernatural, and that's what we're going to talk about. And so, really, if you think of the word supernatural, what do you think it means?
Just like not earthly is what
right,
it's supposed
not
to
natural,
mean.
Above the natural, beyond the natural, beyond nature. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what the word supernatural means. So it doesn't have anything to do with haunting or things like that, but a lot of times people will use that term. Mm-hmm. And use the term haunted or haunting and even will kind of like intertwine supernatural and paranormal, which is again what's paranormal. The word simply means beyond the normal. Mm-hmm. Okay, so just taking the words for what they literally mean is not that big a deal. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it has been kind of linked with religion. Mm-hmm. So now you can see how this has never been something that I'm excited about.
I realized I forgot to find a book.
Yeah, you didn't find a book for us. But
I got busy. So.
Yeah, that's okay. Next time, because we got 4 weeks of October. Yeah. 5 weeks of October? 4 weeks of October, so we'll have books, we promise. Yeah, the Halloween special.
We'll have a Halloween special.
Yeah. And so I think that with it being so linked to religion, I probably really was kind of led by fear about the supernatural. But again, the word is it just means beyond the natural. So if I, stick with what I know science. And if it's, can't be explained by science, I can call it supernatural, but it doesn't mean I have to be afraid of it. So I think that, we're not going to promote religion on here. So I have in big bold words in my notes, we are not going to promote the religion. But, I think with having so many people tied the supernatural as in, meaning against their religion kind of thing, I think that that's kind of bizarre. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really believe in I believe that there is life on other planets. Like I believe in aliens, but I don't believe in like
Ghosts, spirits, angels.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I can say I've never discounted the fact that there might be ghosts or spirits or angels. Never discounted that. Or gods, if you want to call it something that supreme. Never discounted it, but I can't say I've given it so much credit in my life that I can tell you some kind of story to make it real for people, because I can't. Yeah. But I do often, when I'm talking to people or talking about something, I will say terms like, adhere or give in to your better angels. Because I do think that, in our subconscious or conscious consciousness, subconsciousness, there are, I think, I don't want to call it spirits or, but I do tend to use the term, I'm going to ask you to, resort to your better angels on this. Resort to the good thinking on this. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. When I say that to somebody, and I guess, basically what that means. What do you think it means? Resort to your better angel on this.
I don't know. I mean, I think of like the good angel and the bad angel on the shoulder.
Yes. Yeah, and so?
So, I mean, that's kind of what it means, right? Like, when
something whispering in your ear.
Yeah. The good one, you listen to the good one and not the bad one.
Yeah. I mean, because the bad one to me often is what I'm saying to myself a lot of times when I'm speaking negatively to myself. You're not good enough, you're stupid, all these things that I tend to say to myself. And, I mean, I should know that's not true because I have so much proof in my life to prove those things aren't true. But it's like even with concrete proof, I can't believe it sometimes. So I guess what I want to say, at least, is that I hope we all just learn to listen to our better angels. I mean, no matter what, because I don't think that violence or hurtful words, those things are just never the answer. So I think our better angels say, don't convince us to do stuff like that. And I think that we just we gotta, even in this month when we think of scary, still listen to the better angels. You don't have to listen to bad, and you don't have to be convinced that, some spirit told you to do something bad. Because, I just don't, that far, I don't go that far in my belief. I just don't believe that kind of happens. I'd rather people intentionally walk away from a relationship, walk away from anything that's going to cause you to listen to the bad spirits. It's not worth it. I don't think. So, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I was just thinking about, like, in certain times, people want to think of spirits because it's comforting. Like, at Jamie's funeral, remember there was a cardinal?
Yeah.
That we saw?
Yeah.
And it gave you and Angie so much comfort.
Yeah.
Like, seeing it, because it's like a message, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was right before we left. It was the morning of. We were still at the house. And, yeah, it just kind of stayed right there. And it was winter. His funeral was during winter. So, to see a bright red cardinal with no leaves on the trees, it's just right there in the bare branches. It was pretty, because you think of the first of the year, and to me, I think winter, first of the year, bare trees is the first thing I think of. And I think of winter is that the deciduous trees just look like they're dead almost. The bark is almost gray. And you could see that with that bright red kernel. So I see that better, Angel, right there. But you know what? And maybe this is too far off subject, but when I think of that funeral, all I can think of is finally over, and the person that worked for the funeral home was also served as a chauffeur. And I looked at him and I said, "Do you mind taking the kids?" And he's like, "Oh no."
Oh, yeah.
He said, "It should be fun.
Yeah.
It should be fun." He said, "I think your brother would want them to have fun." I said, "Then the kids ride in the limo."
Yeah.
And I looked at my sister. I said, "We ain't riding that limo."
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
"Somebody can give us a ride home. Let's
Yeah.
let the kids take the limo." And then, from what I understand, he took y'all on a little extra long. He didn't take you straight to the house.
No.
And so, because I'm pretty sure we were there before y'all. And I was like, "Oh, good, he's taking them for an extra ride."
Yeah.
And I thought, that's what Jamie would have wanted. I can guarantee you, Jamie.
Yeah.
He would have been the one adult in that limo with the kids. But he would have wanted the kids to have fun on a cool limo ride, and to not think of it as a sad day.
Yeah.
And it was, well, I mean, it was North Carolina, so January can be warm,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the weekend of the Super Bowl. Don't know if you remember that.
No.
His team was not playing, of course.
Well, they weren't.
They rarely do.
But they weren't even Oakland anymore, right? Didn't they?
No, they were not Oakland
They
at
already
that
got sold to Las
time.
Vegas.
No, I think at that time they were the Los Angeles Raiders, but now they're the Vegas. Yeah. So, but I'm pretty sure they were not in Vegas at that time. But it just, I do recall. Yeah, it was sad. Of course, it was sad. But we wanted the kids. We wanted you guys to not. We wanted you to think of it like what Jamie would want. And that was the whole day. It was like, well, what would Jamie do? What would Jamie do? It was that how I had my own WWJD.
Yeah.
What would Jamie do?
Yeah.
And I think of that often when
I mean, I do remember mostly being upset I wasn't allowed to wear dress pants. I had to wear a dress. I was so mad about that. I was so angry because that was the last time I would have been able to wear those dress pants.
Yeah.
Because I grew out of them like a couple weeks later.
Yeah. And I apologize, but just is okay. So I think that oh wow. What about other than that kind of spirit with the bird, with the cardinal? What else? Have you had any other experiences? Have you ever had a night when like when you were alone, like in a dorm room or in your room here, that you felt like a spirit visited you?
No.
Okay.
Not really. I mean, like, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think so. Sometimes, like, it is really here, like, especially when I'm here by myself, sometimes it's a little uncomfortable when it's dark. Just because, like, it gets dark here, right? Like, even, like, inside especially, like, there's not so much, like, light pollution. So, like, it can get really dark inside, so it it makes you a little
It can get dark in here. I agree.
It makes you a little uncomfortable.
Which is why I need to clean the hallway out right now. Those bags of clothes
I know.
are stumping my toes at night. I'm going to do that
and
today.
We don't have a light in the hallway anymore.
No, we do not. The reason I asked you that is because I remember a time. Okay, so there have been several times in our marriage when your dad and I have had to kind of live apart. We have not always lived in the same household, and it's always been because of whoever's job, and we weren't. I mean, we were just still married. We just weren't living in the same. So anyway, this happened, and your dad was having to live in Raleigh, and he was living with some graduate students at NC State. And they all kind of had their own rooms, but they kind of had this shared space. So he we were talking one night on the phone, and he said, he said, the past few nights, I felt like my grandmother was here with me. And I said, what do you mean? He said, because I smell her lotion, the cocoa butter. And I was like, well, then she probably is. And not, both of us, okay, well, I don't want to say I grew up. When I was younger, and I'll get back to this, I promise. When I was younger, I had an aunt that took me to church. That was it. As I started getting into, I don't know, as we started getting a little older, teenage years, all of a sudden my parents found religion. And I mean, and they found it in a real hard way. And
I don't know. I always kind of thought they were always religious.
Okay, well, maybe in the back of their minds they thought they were, but they didn't take us to church. My aunt took me to church.
That's interesting.
And so, so when they found religion, it was, I don't want to use the word force, but I didn't have a choice in it. Put it that way. We didn't have a choice in whether we went or not. Because when my aunt was taking me, I could choose, but when everybody started going, it was everybody had to go. So anyway, but your dad grew up going to church his whole life. But still, either way, anyway. So when he had this experience, we both had childhood experiences of people talking to us about death and moving on to the afterlife and this, that, and the other. So neither of us had this. Neither of us would say, I absolutely don't believe in ghosts. I absolutely don't believe in spirits, because we had some kind of something, a little bit of belief kind of taught to us. So I was not about to discount the fact that he felt like his grandma was there. And so I said, you just need to listen to her. And I had no idea what he felt like maybe she would be saying. We didn't share that part of it. That was his personal experience. But I do remember not like thinking he was weird. I would have never thought that. And I still have moments of, I definitely still talk to my uncle. I still talk to my brother. And I'll sometimes, I'll say something when I pass my mom out there in the hall. I'll say something to her. Obviously, there's nothing I can say now that would make it better, but I don't know. I think that I don't know. I just don't want to be judgy about people that have these thoughts. But I'm talking in spirits, like angels, like good stuff. But this is not the month for that.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be talking about the scary
Well, there
stuff.
can be good spirits in Halloween also.
In Halloween?
Yeah.
What?
It's not just about monsters.
I always thought of it as only monsters. I always thought of Halloween as the scary.
Yeah, but people don't just dress up as scary monsters.
No, they absolutely do not, because a lot of people, want to go to these parties as the sexy nurse or whatever.
No, some, not always.
A lot of people. I didn't say everybody. Okay. I said a lot of people. A lot of people like the scary. A lot of people. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying I really always thought of Halloween as scary.
Interesting.
The scary, and it's probably because but that's what my family did at Halloween. It was only that one night. Yeah. But still, that one night, they tried to make us as scared. If one of us didn't pee our pants, they didn't do their job well.
Yeah. I think the scariest thing I ever dressed up as was either a vampire or a Raggedy Ann.
The vampire, when I made your cape, I did love that cape.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Raggedy Ann can be scary because there's a whole ghost story about a specific Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's funny. I don't know.
It's like, it's based on a real doll. Oh my gosh.
Was the doll though like a spirit of a person that had passed on?
Okay, so you'll have to look up Ed and Lorraine Warren. Actually, no, just ask Rin. Just ask Rin about the
Raggedy Ann.
about Ed and Lorraine Warren, their museum, and the
remember that
Raggedy
name.
Ann doll.
I'm not gonna remember. I thought I had a pen. I don't have my pens. Hold on. I've got one right.
Give me, and I'll write it down.
Yes, please do, because I honestly, right up there at the top of that one.
I'll just put their names.
Yeah.
And they had, I mean, the museum is still a thing, but they're both dead now.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about this wine. Maybe it's just because I've recently brushed my teeth.
I think it's also because it got a little cold.
Okay.
And I think it's a little too cold for the wine.
Okay.
Because it's a bit chilly in here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try to enjoy it because I like to enjoy my wine.
I think it's pretty good.
But it is a Swiss red. Of Swiss wines, I tend to like the whites, but I mean it's okay. I don't know. I think when I think of a Swiss, okay, so we did a little wine tasting for our birthdays in a little Swiss chalet town. And it was so funny because when we first started out, I was taking such good notes. But my goodness, by the fourth bottle, I mean, I don't even know if I could read my notes. I don't even know what those notes are. I mean, it just...
Weren't they on your phone?
Like, they might be on my phone. Yeah, that's right. I probably was typing them on my phone.
Either. I remember watching the game. What game was it?
It was the women...
Spain, Switzerland?
It was Spain, Switzerland. It was Spain, Switzerland. Yeah.
I barely remember that game. No, I remember us having hope that Switzerland might win. We were like, oh my God, Switzerland's gonna beat Spain, and then they didn't.
We really thought that was gonna happen. But sad.
That's how drunk we were.
Sad. The better angels did not win out on that one.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think Spain in general is a better team, and they definitely finish better. As amazing as Leah Velti is, she can't carry the entire team.
No.
So, oh my gosh, I have to start watching Juventus.
Ramona Bachmann also cannot, but I do like her.
I think she's
my
getting
favorite.
older.
She is getting older.
She's not like where she could be, and I honestly think like even the younger players for Switzerland are just not as good as they could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Spain just has a lot of amazing players, both on the women's team and men's team. But
and
like
on the coaching staff, Jesus, yeah.
Their women's team are amazing. I don't know. I didn't think the coach for the women's team for Spain was very good, and she actually just got, she's not the coach anymore.
Okay.
But I really don't think she was able to get, because the one thing that's an issue in women's teams is the penalties. They all struggle with penalties. Like, you watch the men's penalties, and, they definitely have a better finishing rate than the women's team. And England probably has one of the best, finishing rates with penalties, getting it in the back of the net.
Mm-hmm.
But even they don't have as good a record with penalties as they could.
Oh, well, that's
not what we're talking about.
It's not, but Sorry. It's okay. At least you got it in there. I just want to say, I think that this is going to be a fun month. We have some kids, we have some neighbor kids, and I was
came by last year.
Oh, they didn't? No. Okay, it's because I wasn't here.
No. Well, Daddy and I had candy.
I know you did,
them.
But again, I wasn't here. They know I'm the one. But in fact, I remember the first year, once we got to know them, because our very first year absolutely didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. But then the second year, and you were actually still here because you had online class, we told the kids, look, we're going to have candy. So y'all have to come. And I didn't tell them they had to dress up. But their parents made them dress up like scary people. Like one of them was like this, cheerleader with, blood all over her face. And the other one was just scary. He had a little axe in his head. And they really only dressed up to come upstairs. And we had such a good time with that, and so much. And so every year they came and knocked on the door. And you told me last year they didn't come knock on the door, and I thought, oh my goodness gracious. So anyway, and we have more kids here, but I haven't said anything. So maybe you and I will make little goodie bags the day of and take them to the little ones.
Okay.
Because the first floor, those girls can eat candy now.
Oh my gosh.
They're big enough now. They can eat candy. They're what, 3 this year?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness, they're twins, just to let y'all know, and they're adorable. So anyway, they're old enough to get a treat bag, I think, and so we'll have some extra candy just in case they want to come upstairs. But yeah.
I mean, Halloween's really not a big thing in Europe. It's
It
mostly in
absolutely
the
not.
U.S.
It is definitely. I think it is 100% kind of. I think that there are festivals in Europe, different festivals, and it was just that kind of stuff. But I will say, okay, so last year I wasn't here for Halloween, and something happened. Like 2 days before Halloween, my sister got a text message from a pastor saying, "We don't know if you know this, but your dad's planning on burying your mom's ashes on Halloween." And so my sister calls me upset. Because, one, honestly, growing up, we weren't allowed to do Halloween. The only reason we did go get candy is because as teenagers, we were just kind of rebellious, and our mom didn't, we only went with friends. We were never taken out to trick or treat. Ever, never, ever, ever taken to, ask strangers for candy. We weren't allowed to do that. And so, but my grandma would make, like every year at Halloween, she would make us treat bags, and she'd make us these popcorn balls, which are delicious. And my aunt that took me to church, she would make us treat bags and stuff. So we got to go to her house every year on Halloween, and her kids got to go out around the neighborhood.
Nice.
We, we didn't get to do that. And so last year we got the call, and so I was working, and so I thought, oh my gosh, here I've got to figure out a way to take off work early so I can be there with my sister, because she was insistent on going. And so I called my boss the day before, and I said, look, I'm not going to be able to work tomorrow. I said, I'll go in early. I'll get lots of activities for them to do, kind of based around a Halloween theme, and lots of, with math activities. Anyway, I probably did give them 6 hours worth of work to do. They just chose not to do it. But still, I went and I worked hard to make sure these kids had something. And I left. I went and introduced them to all the activities, and then I left. And the lady that was supposed to be my assistant had said she would cover for me that day, and that was actually the day she quit. So, and we were going to dress as each other that day. So she had one of my sweaters, because I wear sweaters all the time in the fall and winter. So anyway, it turned into be like, I thought it was going to be so bad. So anyway, we go to the service, and it was so bizarre, because my sister and I would do things that, this is where the supernatural comes into play. It's when it comes to me and my sister. I came in the door, and I had on a black, nice blouse and like these black, yoga pants. And I walk in the door. She says, "Is that what you're wearing?" I know what you're going to say. And I said, she said, "Good, me too." And she had on her little black yoga pants and a black top. She said, "Well, I might wear this jacket." And I was like, okay, well, I've got a sweater in the car if I need to. But anyway, so she went and got flowers, and so we go to the service, and her husband goes with us, and it's just all so sweet. And so of all the days to bury my mom, he chose Halloween, a day that she absolutely never, ever, ever would want to associate anything in her life to do with. Because the next day is All Saints' Day. And I know their church doesn't think like the churches we kind of took you kids to, in that All Saints' Day is the important day for people who have died in that year. Why couldn't he have waited one more day? Because here it was a Thursday. Halloween was on a Thursday. And why not push it to the Friday? All Saints' Day, it all makes sense. And honestly, I would not have been upset. But instead, I had to take off work that Thursday. So anyway, it didn't matter. Turned out good, because we went out to lunch, and, my sister and I went and did things. We met, most likely, we went shopping, because that's what we do. I'm just saying. In fact, we might have started Christmas shopping that day. I'm just saying, there's a very good chance that we did. And so we get home, and she's going to cook dinner and, all this stuff. And this is the first time she ever cooked her cracked chicken for me. Oh, my Lord. It's better than cracked. I'm just saying, that was some good chicken. And so we had this nice warm dinner, and she says, let's watch Hocus Pocus. Because this was something. This was a movie we would have watched.
Because I watched it the day before you.
I know, and I said that.
you.
You texted me, and I said, this is so funny that we're watching. Because this was the night we would have watched it together when we were younger. So we watched Hocus Pocus, and I said, Brooke watched it last night. And it was so funny because I didn't think I was going to get to see it.
It was the first time I'd ever seen it.
Okay, well, I didn't think I was going to get to see it last year, and I did get to see it. And then that's the night she named that little stray cat that had walked up, Binks.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of cats, you know the black cat that hangs out around the building?
Yes.
So this morning, I was going for my run, and it was sitting on, where the thing where the bikes are in over there, and then the gap between the hedges and gap between the hedges and where the bike thing is, and there's a little ledge for the bike thing, right? It was sitting there, and it scared me because I didn't see it. And it jumped, and it, ran away. And then when I was coming back, because I had hurt my foot after seeing a black cat, it was still around.
I think that's a negative spirit. We got to get rid of this negative spirit.
No, but we fed that cat and took care of it.
I know. We have. We love that little cat. It's not a little cat. It's kind of a big cat. But
we still have to take him to the vet.
We can't take him to the vet. He's not our cat.
Yeah, but we don't know whose cat he is. What if he's missing and he has a chip?
Well, I'm assuming since he's still alive, he's being fed, and so he's someone's cat. Is all I can assume. But the cats never wear collars. Cats take their collars off.
Yeah.
Which is why you have to have a breakaway collar for a cat, because a cat will kill itself trying to take a collar off. It'll hang itself. Yeah. But anyway, that's been kind of fun. Okay, I'm not gonna say I don't like Halloween because I love eating candy. I'm just saying, and I have made sure that you guys always had a fun Halloween. I don't think I ever held back just because I didn't like it. In fact, I even let you guys host a party. Yeah. Now, of course, I made your dad be in charge of it instead of me.
Yeah.
But I was busy. I was working.
Yeah. And you were doing early voting, right?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
You always had early voting on Halloween.
Yes. Yeah. And so, yeah. So I never said y'all can't do Halloween. And also, when I was substitute teaching and knew some of the kids in the neighborhood through that, part of my life, sitting in the neighborhood, watching them come around and just, them, they, anytime a student sees you outside of work, outside of school, they love you. Just saying, that's the best part of being in education, is all of a sudden they love you. And they want, introduce you to their parents and stuff like that. They say nice things about you. So kudos to these kids who brought it right. And so I think that being in that neighborhood was always fun at Halloween. Even the Wake Forest neighborhood. Because at that point, Mason was, a young teenager. And oh my goodness, going around and going out with his friends on Halloween was a big deal for him, I think. Because they would stay out late. And so, not necessarily something I felt comfortable with, but it is what it is. And I wasn't going to say you can't do it. And of course, through the forest behind us in Wake Forest was a cemetery. So, they went out there and found the ghost that night. That was on them, not me. So, but I'm hoping I never, said, oh, this is a stupid celebration. I'm not going to let y'all do it. Because, that's what I kind of grew up with. And so, because I like eating candy. I like stealing candy from you guys.
We always had chili on Halloween.
We had chili or soup. Sometimes we do potato soup. But yeah, most of the time it was chili and cornbread, but sometimes it was potato soup. Because, I like potato soup too. But it was always a warm soup type meal. Always, 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 always. And now I want to go bake cornbread, so, because thanks for that.
We said, remember we were going to do baked beans and cornbread.
Okay, is that this weekend?
No, because we're going hiking this weekend.
We're going hiking this weekend, so, it's probably going to be whatever you can fix for yourself. It skips this weekend.
Well, I'm going hiking with you guys on
I
Sunday.
know, but I'm saying I'm not cooking dinner.
Yeah, no, I know.
Because on my cook day,
Yeah.
we got plans for hiking. But anyway, okay, let's just end with positive that you had some good Halloweens, or at least I hope you did.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I loved making y'all's costumes. I loved to sew the
I would also
costumes.
sometimes have dance class on Halloween, and I would get
Yeah,
to wear my costume and
yeah,
clothes.
yeah, that's true. That's
That was
fun.
very fun, yeah.
There's good memories around, such a holiday that, I wasn't allowed to call a holiday. I could not call it a holiday. I was not allowed to go. Of course, I couldn't say root beer when I was a kid. I had to say Rudy because I couldn't say beer, in my house and whatever. We drank Rudy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the soup idea. I like or chili, whatever. Yeah, I don't know if we'll do chili this year, but we might make soup. I can do potato soup. But that's it's so funny because yeah, that's it's just a few weeks away, but it'll be fun. Yeah, but here we are. We're at least I'm in the month that I can wear my orange, so
Yep.
gonna wear it as often as I can. All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this. We have.
We'll be back next week with a new bottle of wine and a new topic. In the meantime, if you want to join the conversation, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Wine Together Pod. Join our Facebook group, Wine Together Podcast, and if you don't want to miss out on our regular weekly episodes, along with all of our bonus content, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, as well as liking, subscribing, and commenting on our YouTube, Wine Together Podcast.